Hi, guys. All right, so we're going to go over what it means to be sick and to have to call out sick for the center. Now, over the last couple of years, this has changed multiple times. So, some people are very confused about what they should and should not call out sick for. So, we're going to go over this really quick. One, if you have a cold, you can come to the center. You can be here at the center. If you are worried about getting other people sick, you can wear a mask. We're not going to make fun of you for wearing a mask. We have no problem with masks. We wore them a lot during COVID shutdown, all right? So if you have a cold and you're concerned about getting somebody else sick, wear a mask, but we still need you to come to the center. There are a few things that you should know that you can't come to the center for. One, you can't come to the center if you have a fever of 100 or more, all right? You can't come to the center if you are throwing up. You can't come to the center if you have diarrhea. Now, let's go over what diarrhea means. And I know you think you know what that means, but very seriously, if you're just having a little bit of indigestion and you've got a tummy ache, that's not diarrhea. Diarrhea is when you are literally going to have an accident in your pants. Okay? That would be called diarrhea, and please don't come to the center with it. We don't want it here, okay? So, fevers. You know that barking cough you get when you actually have pneumonia and all that kind of stuff? You can't come to the center if you have one of those. But you've got a little bit of an allergy cough or a little tickle in your throat, we expect you to come to work for that. All right? Now, as part of this training, we're going to go over the attendance policy. As part of that policy, you get 9 unscheduled events in a year. All right? Now, those events can be used for pretty much anything you want them to be used for. That's why you get 9 of them. But I highly suggest you save several of them for the fact that you're going to get sick one day. If you have used all 9 of your unscheduled events because you got hungover last night and don't want to come into work today, because your water heater broke and it exploded and it is flooding your house, etc., 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 okay? And you get sick, I can't do anything about it. I have had teachers look at me and go, "What do you expect me to do? I can't stop throwing up." What I'm not really allowed to tell you is build a time machine, go back in time, and you know that day that you actually really didn't have to call out, but you wanted to, go back in time and don't do that. Okay? I don't know how else to say it, and I don't know how else to do it. It is not fair for me to give you more than those 9 unscheduled days off and expect somebody else to stick to that. It is also not fair to your fellow coworkers for them to have to cover you because you decided you just didn't want to come in 3 months ago. I understand you're sick. I really do. I've been there, and I'm sorry. But the fact of the matter is, you need to come to work when you're scheduled to be here so that you can use those call-outs that you are allowed to have for what they're really meant to be. All right? So, things you can be sick with. The sniffles, allergies, colds, headaches, all of these things you can absolutely come into the center with. All right? Take some cold medication. Take an Excedrin migraine. You can be here. All right? What you can't be here for is vomiting, diarrhea, fevers, the barking cough when you get all that kind of stuff. If you have a sore throat and you're concerned about strep, please go to the doctor. All right? And speaking of doctors, some of my employees believe that if they bring me a doctor's note that says, "I saw this person at the office today, please excuse them from work," that means that didn't count as an absence. Just because the doctor says I need to excuse you from work doesn't mean you were here. All right? Also, doctor's notes work for high school, junior high, and elementary school to excuse you from work. In the real world, when you have a real job, the doctor doesn't get to tell you that let me state it this way. The doctor doesn't get to tell me that I have to give you more time off. That's not how the real world works. You get, if you are full-time, 15 days off per year. 9 of those can be unscheduled events. And that counts the days that you are out sick. All right? So just because you went and got a doctor's note doesn't mean I magically give you now 16 days off. It does not mean that I magically gave you 10 unscheduled events. It just means you were sick and you actually went to the doctor, which good on you, because you should be taking care of yourself. We do want you to take care of yourself. All right? But unfortunately, doctor's notes are extremely easily to fake these days, and we're not in a situation where we are in a pandemic and we have to be uber careful with anybody being sick around anybody. If you have a cold, you can come to work. If you have allergies, you can come to work. If you have a headache, you can come to work. All right? The rest of us all do. We have to be here all the time too, and we do understand how it feels. If you need to talk to us about the fact that you need to be in a slightly quieter room, I'm not sure if we honestly have a quieter room, but we can do the best that we can. If you're in a situation where you might need to be sitting down a little bit more today because you've sprained your ankle or something of that nature, we do have rooms where you don't have to carry children around a lot. All right? These are things that we can accommodate you with. But just having your body and your eyes here and your voice here, you can still come in and color with kids. You can talk with kids. You can tell them not to climb up the slide. You can do all of those things with a cold, with allergies, even with a headache. All right. But just so you're aware, that kind of is our sick policy. Being sick counts as those 9 unscheduled events. Those 9 unscheduled events count as part of the 15 days off that you get per year. All right. If you're full-time, by the way, part-timers, you don't get 15 days off per year. You get 10 days off per year. All right. And your 9 unscheduled events count in those 10 days off per year. If you're calling out sick, that is an absence, whether you get a doctor's note or not. If you look up with the word absence, it literally means you're not here. The doctor doesn't get to say, but she was sick, so you shouldn't count it. That's not how the real world works, okay? Doctor's notes are great. They mean that we understand you really were sick and you're not actually in trouble, but you still only get those 9 days off, and 9 unscheduled events, and you still only get those 15 days off. All right? So please monitor your time off well. Use it when you are sick, not just when, honestly, you're just not in the mood today, because you're going to need that day eventually, okay? So if you have questions about what is and is not acceptable to come into the center with, please talk to the front desk. We will go over these things with you. We are not trying to trick you, and we're not trying to trap you, okay? We want to help you monitor these things, but please, for the love, do not get in the situation where you are super sick, but you used all your 9 unscheduled events because you were out partying, okay? Don't do that to yourself. You will get in trouble, okay? Thank you.